All right, caller, who do we have?
Hello, sir. This is Candidato de Presidente Beto O'Rourke.
Okay,
¿Cómo estás, señor?
Beto, you're not Hispanic. Why are you speaking in Spanish?
Right, I'm practicing for my later interview tonight with Jorge Ramos. So please, just go with it.
Okay, so Jorge Ramos, he's interviewing you for what reason? I mean, you're going on Univision. Why? And speaking Spanish. Why? Do you want people to think that you may be Hispanic, although you're not?
I mean, I want people to think that I'm presidential candidate, whatever country. I mean, Mexico, America, Belize. What I mean, it's all the same, ain't it? So,
Uh,
just
okay.
just feel the energy, Antonio. So. I want to agree with the caller a few callers ago because I was listening to your show while, watching, of course, Dora the Explorer in preparation for the interview tonight. I want to agree with her. You have to stop having these ridiculous joke callers, Anthony. These people, they're wasting their time. They're awful people. They're deceiving the public, and I invite them, instead of dedicating your life to wasting Antonio Briano Logano's time, volunteer for Beto 2020. You can also contribute at beto2020.org, and all of your contributions are tax deductible as well.
Okay, well, that was a nice little commercial, cited in there pretty well. But Beto, I'm seeing a lot of things about you coming out in the media, and they have me kind of concerned. I saw some writings from you when you were younger. Not sure if you were a teenager or in college, but what's going on with these writings? You're talking about you want to run people over, you want to steal their joy away. I mean, what's really going on with these writings? Were you in a dark place, or what's going on?
Oh, that was just a phase, when I was, of course, you remember playing a game when you were a kid, Duke Nukem. So, it was just sometimes. We had brownouts down at the border. Brown having nothing to do with race, of course, but we would have brownouts, and I'd be so amped up while playing Duke Nukem, and of course, doing whippets like everybody else who was 15. So when the power went out, I just go to my journal and like go nuts.
Oh, okay.
So,
I see. So you just.
I mean, you've done this too before, right, Anthony?
No, I can't say that I have. I didn't just go to my journal and write crazy things like that about hurting people, but we just let that go.
So wait, what did you do when the power went out while you were playing Duke Nukem?
Oh, well, I'm not sure if I was playing Duke Nukem, but I would just, I don't know, mind my own business, read a regular book. I didn't write any kind of horror fantasy like you did back when the power went out. Not sure how you did that with no power on. Did you do it by candlelight or something like that in the barrio back in El Paso?
Yeah, you're trying to really rub it in there, with your books and all that, like, fancy people reading books there.
Yeah.
Well, what's the deal? I mean, of course, uneducated Republicans like yourself, you always have to brag about reading books, like you assume that we don't.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I did. You asked me the question, I gave you an answer. That's all I did.
All right. What's another question? I'm here. This is great practice for Jorge.
Okay, now you had an attempted or close hit and run. And you were driving under the influence and hit somebody or hit a vehicle, and you tried to leave the scene, but you were prevented from leaving the scene. What's going on with that? I mean, should we vote for you since you have a history, even though it was in the far past, of drinking and driving, hitting somebody? What's going on?
Yeah, you see, the thing is that it was a very hot day, of course, in El Paso, and I saw, sometimes, when you're driving, this isn't very good, but of course in El Paso we have those snow cone stands, and I kind of saw one and rubbernecked, and I was like, hey, I got to get some snow cones, and in the meantime something happened, and meanwhile I was out the door getting those snow cones because it's real hot out there. Got to get those snow cones before they melt. So there you go.
Okay, so when you tried to run, what was that about? You tried to leave the scene of the accident.
Got to run for those snow cones, man. Come on.
Okay, so that was the whole thing. You crashed your vehicle, and then you were like, you know what? I still want the snow cone. Was that it?
Hey, I don't know what happened in between. I thought snow cones. I went for the snow cones. I didn't get the snow cones. If you're going to blame me, Anthony, 20 years later, for not getting the snow cones, Maybe you're too obsessed with snow cones, Anthony. Maybe you're the problem.
Hey, I'm just asking questions. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know anything. I just want to know. I want to get to the bottom of it. That's all.
Yeah, I think you have to, let go of the snow cones already, Anthony.
Okay, I mean, hey, it's not you don't have to convince me. You got to convince the American people. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
so is there anything you?
And the Mexican people. But keep going.
Well, no, because they're not going to vote. So we're not going to do that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're not going to vote. You're right.
That's right. That's right. So people are going to think that you are a fraud because you're out here pretending to be Hispanic, but you are not. So what do you think about that? Anybody says that you're pretending to be Hispanic, although you're a white male?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty typical. People think I pretend to do stuff. Last year in October, I was pretending to be a serious candidate for the Senate, and nobody held that against me.
Well, yeah, you got a point there because you did say you're not going for president. You're not going to do it even if you win or lose. It doesn't matter. You're not going to run, but here you are. So that's a very good point.
Yeah, that was the Whippets and the Duke Nukem playing. I kind of lost track of my priorities.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. What I really meant to say at the time was, I promise not to run for president if Jimmy Kimmel beats Ted Cruz at basketball. But Jimmy, with his lard ass, he couldn't get it done against this guy who basically looks like a melted meringue pie. So I don't know what the issue is with Jimmy, but you can blame Jimmy Kimmel for me being the next president.
Well, all righty. So we can wrap it up right here. Is there anything you want to tell the people before we go to the next caller on the line?
Yes, Ted. It's going to be very funny when I have to invite you to my office so that I can, so that I veto your budget. So let's remember that. Anyway, thank you, Antonio.
It's Anthony, but thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night.
All right, now. Yeah, that was Beto O'Rourke, presidential hopeful in 2020. That was him for real. It wasn't a troll call. That was really him. And his voice, everything was spot on. So shout out to Beto O'Rourke. But let me get to the next call.